one half of Inspiring Women on a Mission. I am here today to interview a dear friend of ours in Penticton, British Columbia. Her name is Mare.
Hello.
Also known as Redhead Mare, also known as the Marathoner. Check her out. There's going to be things on the bottom of our channel so you can check her out. She's been around on YouTube for a very long time. She knows what the heck she's doing.
I'm usually behind the camera for these videos.
Well,
right?
she does a lot of everything. Yeah, she's a bit of a guru. This is her expertise. Anyhow, I'm going to ask her a few questions so you can get to know her a little bit better. We find her fascinating, Kelly and I. So, anyhow,
yes.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you, because she is what I call two cohorts younger than myself. So, a cohort is 10 years. So. She is approximately 20 years younger than Kelly and I, so things have changed for women, not just for men, but I mean we're talking specifically about women because we're both women. I know that's surprising. Oh, that's my weak attempt at a joke. So, but I would like to know because her generation is phenomenally different. And I find them fascinating than my generation. What's important to them, what they think, how they spend their money, everything. So what would be your favorite piece of advice or your most important piece of advice that you would give to another woman?
Well, it's something that I struggle with all the time, and I would say weekly, and it's taking care of yourself.
Self-care?
Yeah, self-care is something that I've been preaching on my channel for years and on the radio and to all my friends, but not really doing it myself, like not as much as I should. And when I say take care of yourself, I mean put yourself first. That's, again, easy to say, so hard to do, especially if you're married, or you have kids, or you work. I find no matter how hard I try, I am constantly like down the list.
Third, fourth, 10th on that. Today, I'll maybe squeeze in a half an hour of exercise for myself, or maybe I'll take that much time to make myself something to eat.
Or it's the end of the day and I'm like, oh, I guess I should do something, but I'm exhausted, so I don't.
There's nothing left.
So really take the time for yourself and take care of yourself and do it without guilt. Do it without, feeling like, oh, I should be doing something else. Or
let that go.
Just let it go, because it's that analogy that's probably been overused, but it's that oxygen mask. Like they say on the airplane, put the oxygen mask on yourself before you put it on anybody else. Because if your tank is empty, you're of no use to anybody else. Yeah. And I've definitely emptied my tank a lot and then realized, like, now I'm useless to myself and to everybody.
Crappy.
Yeah, so that's my one big piece of advice. And don't beat yourself up about it, but just constantly try to remind yourself that it's necessary. And anyone who gives you shit about it,
just ignore them.
Not here for that.
Well, you know what? The first thing when you said the words, or the two words, self-care, where did you first hear that phrase or learn that or read that? Because that's something that I wasn't raised ever hearing those words. My mom took care of everybody else.
So did mine.
I called her Superwoman.
Yeah,
so where did you first learn that or think that was something you should do even as a young person?
Yeah, it probably was just from watching other YouTubers and other women.
Wow.
Because it definitely wasn't YouTube. My mom. I mean, she takes care of herself for sure. She's very healthy, but she was always like stressed and taking care of us kids and my dad and the house and so I think it's just something that's become one of those like buzzwords, but no one really is actually like explaining what that means and what that should look like. And I do talk about self-care quite a bit on my channel, but I think it's something that is always a work in progress.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was fantastic answer, but I wondered when that buzzword came about. So curious there, what surprises you about women these days?
Oh, what surprises me?
And it doesn't mean any age group of women. It doesn't matter where you are. What pops into your head?
I think what surprises me just off the top of my head is like how every woman has such a story, and I feel like so many of them, if you meet them or you see them on social media, you would have no idea. Like the more I go through in my own life, and we've definitely been, dealt a pretty difficult hand, some of the stuff that our family's been through, but I realize the more I talk to people, like they've been through it too, or they have their own stuff. Like it's just so interesting to me, I guess, how resilient women are and how much we're capable of.
Excellent.
You know what I mean? Like I just feel like I thought my day-to-day was hard until I meet someone else and I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you handle that? But we just do. And I think maybe that's something that isn't celebrated enough. You know, how
Fantastic.
resilient
But
we
also
are.
we don't wear it on the outside. And if you don't share and you don't, because we ask people, oh, how are you doing? But we really don't want the answer like, oh, so-and-so was just diagnosed with cancer, or something horrible just happened, or we've lost our job or our home. People don't want always the truth, the yucky stuff, unless it's somebody close to you who really actually gives a shite. So,
yeah, it's really
Well, that's
interesting.
fantastic.
I think just
do you think we're becoming braver that we're actually sharing what's real and true?
I think some people are. I have found that to be when, you know, like our son has special needs. He's autistic and he has very severe hearing loss, and he's 6 now. And for the first few years, we didn't tell anyone. We were just literally dealing. Like I needed to just go to work and then come home and deal. I couldn't even imagine telling people. But then I got to a point where our therapist was like, you need to let people in. Like, you have to ask for help. And that's something that I'm terrible at. And then I realized the more we started talking about it, people were like, wanted to help and like they didn't feel put out. They're like, yes, please let us do something, because I never wanted to feel like a burden. And also, I was shocked at how many people could relate. Like, oh, my son or daughter goes through this, or I know someone, or that kind of thing. It's just so interesting. I feel like once
share their story, and
once
you
you
can
start
relate.
opening up, more people will.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
Yeah, so it puts people in a place where they can be safe to talk about things. Fantastic. So just in closing then, what would be your mantra of 2017, or what's your daily mantra?
Well, I do like myself a good quote.
Yes, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that.
I have a couple that have really stuck with me in the last couple of years. One is you do you. And that's just like, you do whatever makes you happy.
And I'll do me.
Yeah.
You do you, I'll do me.
Yeah,
Is
you
that
do
what you
you.
mean?
I'll be over here doing me. And like, also going with that is good for you, not for me. So
Excellent.
like something that you really like that I don't, I can still celebrate it and support you, but I don't have to like it. And that I find a lot, like, you know, when I chose to leave my morning radio show, a lot of people were like, oh, could you? And I was like, good for me, not for you, and that's fine. Or like, now this job is good for you, but not for me.
Right.
So
Yeah.
those two things have really, just like not having to get other people's approval. I think that's what it comes down to.
Fantastic. I think that's part of self-care too.
Yeah.
Is not needing or looking, is that you gave it approval. You discuss it maybe with your significant other if it's important. That in fact it impacts both of you. But
Yeah.
but if it's good for you and you feel right about it.
Yeah, as long as you're not hurting anyone.
Of course.
It's not like, you know what I mean.
Yes, absolutely. But that it's good for you and that it feels good. Well, that's a fantastic quote. I'm gonna.
You do you. And
Well,
good for you, not for me.
You know what I'd like to throw in there too is that one thing that I think is that we can all work on is that everybody doesn't need to like us. Everything that we do in life is not about other people's other people's approval. I don't always have to be, conflict's okay, and I can. I don't need to like everything that Mayor says even, or agree with it. I can disagree with it, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
But I can wholeheartedly side with her and say, wow, yeah, that's fantastic. But it doesn't mean we're bad or wrong. It means it's what's right for you.
Yeah, and we need those difference of opinions. That's what makes it great.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
For being here.
Thank
In another video, you're going to get to enjoy Kelly interviewing Mare in her own style and way. And thanks for listening. And I'm Nancy, and this is Mare. And
we are inspiring women on a mission. I'll take that.
Absolutely. We'll talk at you soon. Take care. Bye bye now.